again.
The trailer for Fallout Season 2, Episode 7 does not just tease what is coming next, it completely changes how we should look at everything we thought we knew. Every shot feels heavier, every decision more dangerous, and for the first time, it truly feels like no one is safe anymore. This is the moment where secrets stop hiding, plans start collapsing, and the line between hero and villain becomes terrifyingly thin. The Fallout Season 2 Episode 7 trailer immediately sets a dark and intense tone, making it clear that the story is entering its most dangerous phase yet. What makes this trailer feel so crazy is not just the action, but the feeling that every character is standing at the edge of a point of no return. The slow buildup, the serious expressions, and the sharp cuts all suggest that Episode 7 will be less about survival and more about consequences. Everything that has been slowly building throughout the season now feels ready to explode. The trailer strongly hints that the choices made in this episode will shape the end of the season and possibly the future of the entire Fallout world. One of the most striking elements of the trailer is how isolated everyone feels. Even when characters are shown together, there is a strong sense of distrust and emotional distance. This suggests that alliances will be tested, and some may completely fall apart. The world of Fallout has always been brutal, but this trailer reminds us that the real danger is not just the wasteland, but the people who believe they are doing the right thing. Episode 7 seems ready to challenge every character's morals, especially those who think they are in control. The trailer also gives us a strong feeling that time is running out. There is urgency in every scene, as if events are moving faster than anyone can handle. This is especially important because Fallout has always been a story about slow decay, systems breaking down over time, ideals rotting from the inside. But Episode 7 looks different. It feels sudden, aggressive, and unforgiving. Whatever has been quietly planned in the background is no longer hidden. The trailer makes it clear that secrets are about to surface, and when they do, they will hurt everyone involved. Another key detail is the emotional weight carried by the characters. The trailer focuses heavily on faces, reactions, and silence, rather than long conversations. This tells us that Episode 7 will rely more on actions than words. Characters will not have the luxury of explaining themselves anymore. They will be judged by what they do in the moment. This is especially important in a world like Fallout, where good intentions often lead to horrifying outcomes. The trailer seems to ask a simple but terrifying question. When everything collapses, who will you choose to be? There is also a clear sense that Episode 7 will blur the difference between safety and control. Fallout has always explored this idea, but the trailer pushes it even further. What looks like protection may actually be imprisonment, and what feels like order may be built on suffering. The episode appears ready to expose systems that were once trusted, forcing characters and the audience to rethink who truly deserves power. This is where the trailer becomes truly unsettling because it suggests that the worst threats are not monsters or mutants, but people who believe peace can be forced. Overall, the Fallout Season 2 Episode 7 trailer feels like a warning rather than a preview. It is telling us to prepare for loss, betrayal, and irreversible change. The calm moments from earlier episodes are gone. What remains is tension, fear, and the sense that the story is finally showing its true face. Episode 7 is not just another chapter, it is the turning point where everything changes, and once it does, there may be no way back. One of the most disturbing and exciting things about the Episode 7 trailer is how clearly it focuses on power and how far certain characters are willing to go to protect it. The trailer strongly suggests that the illusion of control is finally breaking apart, and the people who believed they were untouchable are starting to feel real fear. What makes this especially intense is that this fear does not come from outside threats, but from the consequences of their own actions. Throughout the season, we have seen plans carefully layered, lies stacked on top of half-truths, and systems designed to look stable while hiding deep cracks underneath. Episode 7 looks like the moment when those cracks finally split wide open. The trailer gives us the feeling that manipulation is no longer enough. Characters who once relied on words, authority, or technology to control others now seem pushed toward more extreme solutions. This shift is important because it shows desperation. Control only works when people believe in it, and the trailer makes it clear that belief is fading. Once that happens, force becomes the only remaining option. This is where Fallout becomes truly terrifying because history has shown us that forced peace always comes at a brutal cost. Episode 7 appears ready to show that cost in full detail. Another major theme hinted at in the trailer is resistance. Not loud, organized resistance, but quiet, personal defiance. Small moments matter here. Hesitation before following an order, a look that lasts a second too long, a choice made when no one is watching. These moments suggest that even in a world built on control, the human spirit does not disappear completely. However, the trailer also makes it clear that resistance is dangerous. Those who begin to question the system put themselves directly in its path, and Episode 7 looks prepared to show how quickly hope can turn into punishment. The emotional tension in the trailer feels heavier than anything we have seen so far. Characters are no longer just reacting to events. They are being crushed by the weight of what they have already done. Regret plays a huge role here. You can feel it in the pacing, in the silence between scenes, and in the way characters avoid looking at one another. Episode 7 seems ready to confront these regrets head on. The trailer suggests that some characters will finally realize that their actions cannot be undone, no matter how noble their intentions once were. What makes this even more suspenseful is the sense that trust is completely collapsing. Fallout has always been a world where trust is fragile, but Episode 7 looks like the moment when it finally shatters. The trailer hints that secrets long kept hidden will come to light, and when they do, relationships will not survive them. This is not just about betrayal between enemies, but betrayal among people who once believed they were on the same side. That kind of betrayal cuts deeper, and the trailer leans heavily into that emotional damage. The pacing of the trailer also suggests that Episode 7 will not give characters time to recover. Events appear to move quickly, one disaster feeding into the next. There is no pause to reflect, no moment to regroup. This constant pressure creates a feeling of suffocation, both for the characters and the audience. It reinforces the idea that once the system starts collapsing, it does so violently and without mercy. Episode 7 seems designed to trap everyone inside that collapse. At its core, the trailer asks a very uncomfortable question. Is survival worth it if it costs your humanity? This question has always existed in Fallout, but Episode 7 looks like the first time characters will be forced to answer it directly. Some may choose survival at any cost, while others may finally refuse to cross certain lines. The tragedy is that both choices come with consequences, and the trailer makes it clear that no path leads to a clean victory. By the end of the trailer, there is a strong sense that Episode 7 will permanently change how we see certain characters. Heroes may fall, villains may reveal unexpected depth, and some characters may lose everything they believed they were protecting. This is why the trailer feels so intense and unsettling. It does not promise resolution or justice. Instead, it promises transformation through loss. Episode 7 is shaping up to be the episode where Fallout stops holding back and fully embraces the chaos it has been quietly building all season long. What truly makes the Episode 7 trailer feel overwhelming is the way it pushes character conflict to the front of the story. This no longer feels like a fight between good and evil, but a clash of beliefs, fears, and broken ideals. The trailer suggests that characters who once walked similar paths are now moving in completely opposite directions. And the most dangerous part is that every side believes they are right. This is where Fallout becomes most powerful, because it shows how easily survival can twist morality into something unrecognizable. One of the strongest impressions from the trailer is the emotional pressure placed on characters who have tried to remain compassionate in a cruel world. Episode 7 looks like the moment where compassion itself becomes a liability. Caring too much, hesitating, or trying to protect others may lead to devastating consequences. The trailer hints that some characters will be forced to choose between saving themselves or saving someone they love, and there may not be enough time to do both. These are not dramatic choices meant to look heroic. They are quiet, painful decisions that leave scars long after they are made. The trailer also deepens the idea that violence is no longer just a response, but a language. Characters are no longer negotiating or questioning, they are acting. This shift suggests that episode 7 will be driven by raw instinct rather than careful planning. When fear takes over, people stop thinking about the future and focus only on the next moment. Fallout has always shown how quickly civilization can collapse, and episode 7 appears to push that collapse into something personal. It is not just society breaking down, but individual values breaking apart as well. Another unsettling element is the sense that past actions are finally catching up to everyone. The trailer strongly implies that no decision has been forgotten. Every lie, every compromise, every time someone chose the easier path instead of the right one is now returning with consequences. This creates a feeling of inevitability, as if the characters are being pulled toward outcomes they can no longer avoid. Episode 7 does not look like a story about preventing disaster. It looks like a story about facing it. The tension in the trailer is also built around silence. Some of the most powerful moments are not filled with explosions or chaos, but with stillness. Characters stand alone, trapped in their thoughts, realizing that they may have already lost. This use of silence suggests that episode 7 will focus heavily on internal conflict. The real battles are happening inside the characters' minds, where fear, guilt, and hope are constantly fighting for control. This makes the coming conflicts even more intense, because once a character reaches their breaking point, there is no telling what they will do next. The trailer also hints that episode 7 will challenge the idea of legacy. Many characters believe they are building something that will last, whether it is safety, order, or a better future. But the trailer suggests that these legacies may be built on suffering. When characters begin to see the damage they have caused, they must decide whether to continue forward or finally stop. This is especially painful because stopping now would mean admitting that everything they worked for was wrong. Episode 7 seems ready to show how difficult it is to let go of power once it has been claimed. There is also a growing sense of isolation throughout the trailer. Even when characters are surrounded by others, they feel alone. Trust has eroded to the point where no one feels truly safe sharing their thoughts or fears. This isolation makes manipulation easier and violence more likely. Episode 7 appears to explore how loneliness can push people into extreme decisions, especially when they believe they have no one left to rely on. By focusing so heavily on emotional conflict, the trailer makes it clear that episode 7 will not be an easy watch. It is shaping up to be uncomfortable, intense, and deeply tragic in places. Characters will be forced to confront who they really are when all the rules disappear. Some will rise to the moment, while others may finally fall apart. This is why episode 7 feels so important. It is not just about what happens next, but about revealing who these characters truly are when the world stops pretending to be stable. The episode 7 trailer also makes it very clear that the Fallout world itself is becoming more unstable, not just emotionally, but structurally. Systems that once appeared organized and controlled now feel fragile and close to collapse. What is frightening is that this collapse does not seem sudden, it feels earned. The trailer suggests that everything breaking apart has been slowly building for a long time, hidden behind rules, routines, and the promise of safety. Episode 7 looks like the moment when those promises finally prove to be empty. One of the most powerful ideas hinted at in the trailer is that order can be just as dangerous as chaos. For a long time, certain characters believed that structure and control were the only ways to protect people from the horrors of the wasteland. But the trailer shows us the dark side of that belief. When order is forced, it stops being protection and becomes oppression. Episode 7 seems ready to expose how systems meant to save people can slowly strip them of their freedom, identity, and even their humanity. This realization appears to hit some characters harder than others, especially those who once believed they were doing the right thing. The trailer also builds tension around the idea that fear is now the main tool holding everything together. People are no longer loyal because they believe in the system, but because they are afraid of what will happen if they step out of line. This kind of control is unstable by nature, and episode 7 looks like the episode where that instability finally explodes. Once fear stops working, the only thing left is violence, and the trailer strongly hints that this shift is already happening. Another important detail is how the trailer presents the idea of choice. Characters are constantly placed in situations where every option leads to loss. There are no clean solutions anymore. Protecting one group means endangering another. Speaking the truth means destroying trust. Staying silent means becoming complicit. Episode 7 appears to force characters into these impossible decisions, making it clear that neutrality is no longer an option. In a world like Fallout, choosing nothing is still a choice, and the trailer suggests that those choices will now have visible consequences. The emotional weight of responsibility is also a major focus. Characters who hold power are beginning to realize that their decisions affect far more people than they ever intended. The trailer shows subtle signs of doubt, hesitation, and internal conflict, especially from those who once appeared confident and unshakable. Episode 7 seems ready to challenge the idea that leadership automatically means wisdom. Sometimes it simply means being the last person standing when everything goes wrong. What makes this even more intense is the feeling that escape is no longer possible. Earlier in the season, characters still had options: run away, hide, delay confrontation. The episode 7 trailer removes those options entirely. The walls are closing in both physically and mentally. Characters are being forced to face the consequences of their past decisions head on. This creates a suffocating atmosphere where tension never fully releases, keeping the audience constantly on edge. The trailer also hints that episode 7 will blur the line between victim and villain even further. Some characters who once seemed cruel may now appear desperate. Others who claim to act out of kindness may reveal how far they are willing to go to maintain control. Fallout has always avoided simple answers, and episode 7 looks like the episode that fully embraces moral gray areas. This makes every conflict more unsettling because there is no clear side to root for anymore. By emphasizing collapsing systems, forced order, and impossible choices, the episode 7 trailer paints a picture of a world on the brink. Not just a physical collapse, but a philosophical one. The beliefs that once held everything together are no longer enough. Episode 7 feels like the moment when Fallout stops asking whether the world can be saved and starts asking whether it deserves to be. And that question alone makes this episode feel like one of the most intense and unforgettable chapters of the entire season.